Good evening guys, Apex here and welcome to my review of the achievement battle pet or power stone pet, the Ellam. You can get it the same way you get all the other achievement pets. You have to get all of the you have to get a bunch of these, and when they came out with the Excel spreadsheet, I was able to go through it, and I quickly saw that I had nowhere near the mounts and gliders needed, but I was somewhat close with the battle pets, so I decided to go for that. Of course, if you pay to win and you have way more gold than me, you can just go for whatever, but I can't afford, or I guess I choose not to go for these because they're just gonna cost so much gold. So yeah, but I'm here to talk about the achievement battle pet. I've been asked to make a video now for a few weeks. I haven't had the time. I've had a lot to do in real life, work, personal life, and I recently celebrated my 30th birthday, and I just today got done with that video. I think it's called Apex's 30th birthday, which is a video compilation, like bunch of clips from different games I play and such, and future projects. So if you haven't checked that out, you could go do that if that sounds interesting. It's I would say it's one of my best videos. At least it's one of my favorite videos. It's the first one I made after I turned 30 years old, and I wanted to make a special video, and I feel I accomplished that. So yeah, check it out. Check it out if you want to. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about the achievement pet here, and I'm gonna compare it to the other achievement items you can get, and I will compare it to existing battle pets and such that are similar. So yeah, let's get started. First of all, I assume some people care about what it looks like, so I'm gonna show you what it looks like here. It changes its appearance though. I don't know why, but for some reason every 30 seconds it changes it changes its appearance. So as you see now, in 3 seconds it's gonna swap what it looks like. To me, I think this is only cosmetic. I don't think it has any effect. So yeah, but it has 3 different looks. I think it's looking like the icons of these 3 skills that it has. So yeah, this is a power stone battle pet, which we already have some of in game. It follows you the same way and stuff. It can have the same power stones in it. And yeah, like the other power stones, power stone pets, this one has 3 skills instead of having 1. They all have long cooldowns and stuff. And like I said, I'm gonna go through them thoroughly, but first I just wanna give you a quick overview of what they are. They're called Ellam A, Ellam B, and Ellam C. They all have the same cooldown, as you can see. They all have the same range. They're being used on you as the caster. And yeah, one is an offensive effect, one is a defensive effect, and one is something in between, I would call it. Alright, so to read what it says here: increases the owner's attack and healing power 20% for 2.5 seconds. Then you have this one, the defensive one: decreases the owner's received damage minus 50% for 2.5 seconds. And then this one is a CC immunity thing, so I think you can use that both offensively and defensively, so I'm gonna call it something in between. Grants the owner immunity to all debuffs for 2.5 seconds. So yeah, that's the 3 it has, and like I said, I'm gonna compare it to the other achievement items first, and then I'm gonna explain why I gave it, or why I think what I think about it. Okay, so yeah, is it worth getting or not? I would say barely. I would, okay, it's more complicated. I would say if you're far away from getting it, don't get it. I would only get it if you already have a bunch of battle pets like I did. it is unfortunately disappointing in several ways. And if I knew what I know now, or like I said, I was pretty close, so I just got it. It didn't cost me too much, but yeah, I was a little disappointed with them. Out of the 3 achievement items, I would rank it the lowest. I would rank the glider the highest. It has Turbulence Immunity. It has, I think it's Untargetability, and it has a very high stats on all the stats. Don't quote me on this because I don't have one, but I'm pretty sure actually, wasn't it showing here? Yeah, everything is very high on it. And it's immune to turbulence, and I think Cast of Falcons... Actually, no, I believe it might do the other gliders around it faster. So, alright. But yeah, I would still put it at the top. On second place, I would have the Endlafter Cora, which is the mount. It's a lot like a Pegasus mount, honestly, or other flying mounts we have in the game. It has a movement speed skill, it has a flying skill, and then a third one I'm not sure of. I think it's a dash for both ground and air, while this one is just for the air. But yeah, it's pretty similar. It has 3 skills like my Pegasus has here, and it's slightly faster than the current mounts. You see, you can gem mounts gear now, so they are pretty fast. Like my horse here is 15.2, and the achievement one is 16. So yeah, it's slightly faster. I wouldn't call that great either. The only one I would call great out of the 3 would be the glider, and the mount I would say is alright, and this thing I would say is, sorry to say, disappointing. So yeah, I'm gonna tell you why I think so, and why I think you should hesitate getting it unless you're really close to having all the pets needed. So yeah, to go through the skills one by one here. Okay, I should first probably mention that these skills all share cooldown. That was something I was very interested to know when I was gonna get one. Because that makes a huge difference if they have independent cooldowns or if they share it, but they do indeed share it. And I kept hearing different things. I kept hearing from some people that they had separate cooldowns, and some people said they share cooldowns. I didn't know, but just to, if there anyone still not knowing it for sure, they do share cooldowns. So if I use this skill, the other 2 also go on cooldowns here. So yeah, to go through it skill by skill, what makes this thing not that great. First of all, as you see, it's all on cooldown. That's one bad thing. I would want it to be different, because basically you're having an offensive skill, a defensive skill, and something in between, but you're not gonna need all 3, because mostly you could argue that it's more versatile. Versatile, I'm not sure which word fits the best, but it can be used in more situations, you could say. Like, okay, I'm getting attacked now, I better use the defensive one, the CC breaker here, or I'm gonna be the attacker, so I want to use the offensive one. So yeah, it is universally better, I guess, but most of the time I think people are content with having just defense or offense. You see, for me, for example, I'm defensive. I would never use the Kindle Spirit Power Stone pet, because yes, it boosts my damage the same way this one does, but I would never use this skill because my damage is going to be so low anyway that that's just not my role in a raid. I would always use the defensive one because I'm the one being targeted and stuff. While I think offensive person will think the opposite thing. He will basically try to go for maximum amount of damage, so he would go for a Kindled Spirit, not a Bloomfang. Of course, I do think offensive person could make better use of these 3 than I could. Being defensive is a little limited, because even if this boosts my damage a little, it's not gonna matter, at least not in a raid. So yeah, The first thing is that they share cooldowns, which I think sucks, because then you have to think about them. Then you have to dissect the skills independently. If you could use these skills independently of each other, then this would become a better pet, because it would weigh out some of the other stuff the other pets do. For instance, let's compare it to the Kindled Spirit, the offensive pet, and say that okay, they both have an offensive skill, but this one is going to be better because you could use defensive as well, and you can use a CC breaker as well. So yeah, I could argue that if they had separate cooldowns. They do not, though. That forces you to use one each time, and they have the same cooldown as a Bloomfang and a Kindled Spirit. So basically, you have to judge these kind of all together, skill by skill, because they're competing with the other Power Stone pets' skills, because you can't use them independently, because when you use one they all go on cooldown. So we have to judge these independently, comparing each skill. Otherwise I think it would be a better pet, because these would add up. Instead we're having to do it independently. So yeah, let's get started. That one didn't have an owner. So yeah, let's get started here. The first one increases the owner's attack and healing power 20% for 2.5 seconds. Now, if you compare it to the Kindled Spirit here, which I've taken out for this event. Now remember, the other one was 20% for 2.5 seconds. This one is 10% for 9 seconds. I'm sorry to say, but did they not math right? Because this one is better than. Yes, it gives you 10% less damage, but it lasts 9 seconds. So you could say the damage output is going to be half, but its duration is going to be 3 or 4 times that of the Ellam, which means, fucking math. This one is better. I don't see how you could say the other one is better, and it shouldn't even be a contest. That's something else I should say. These achievements item, they're so expensive and so hard to get. I think they should be way better than what we already have. Instead, this first skill is comparable, and even, in my opinion, worse than what we already have. Which I think is bullshit, because this is way cheaper to get. So yeah, the first skill completely loses out to the Kindled Spirit, because like I said, if you're an offensive user, you're most likely going to use the offensive skill, so you're going to be better off with a Kindled Spirit. Next one, let's see, get it out again. The defensive one. As you can see, its skill is very similar to that of the Bloomfang. Decreases the owner's received damage 50% for 2.5 seconds. Now I'm going to pull out the Bloomfang. Now remember, 50% for 2.5 seconds. This one is 30% for 3 seconds. So it's 20% less received damage reduction, but it lasts 0.5 seconds longer. If you do the math on that one, how many percent each second and stuff, to do it like that for the duration and stuff, the Ellam comes up a little bit ahead. I haven't actually done the math, I'm doing it in my head, but I assume it comes up a little ahead. Yeah, I think so. But again, in my opinion, they shouldn't even be comparable. Cause like I'm saying now, the Ellam is slightly better. I don't think they should even be comparably, because one cost me 2,000 gold to get, or 650 loyalty, and one costs me God knows how much gold, and mana storms, and loyalty, and credits, and all that shit. So yeah, I think the achievement pet should just blow all the other battle pets out of the water, because it's so hard to get. The same way as the glider does, and the same way as a mount does. And And then we're getting to its last skill here, which we don't have a Power Stone pet to compare it to. Grants the owner immunity to all debuffs for 2.5 seconds. Now I should mention, just to clear this up right from the get-go, this is immunity, aka you have to pre-use it. This is not a CC breaker. I might have called it that when I was talking here previously, but that's just because it was easier. But it's an immunity, it's not a CC break. If I get tripped or stunned or frozen or slept or feared, I can't use this. You have to use it before that CC is coming in. Alright? So yeah, and obviously that makes it worse because a CC break would be better. Basically, I wish it was like the Defiance skill here. I wish it would remove all CC and then last for 2.5 seconds. And it wouldn't be even OP. But yeah, let's keep talking about it. The thing is, immunity to all debuffs for 2.5 seconds, we might not have a Power Stone pet for, but we have a skill that does the same. I know many of you like to copy paste your builds, but for those of you that really get into your builds and check out every single skill and stuff, you might have read that this one is really good for frontliners at least, because the last sentence here grants the caster 1 second of immunity to disabling effects for each target hit. Disabling effects is immunity to disabling effects is the same as immunity to debuffs. Disabling effects and debuffs is the same thing, at least in this instance. So you literally have a skill here that can stack you. It lasts 1 second for each target. You can hit up to 5 targets. So you have to take. You'll get 5 seconds in total, but minus something while you're moving. Let's call it a second. While you're hitting those 5 targets. But let's say you have 4 seconds of immunity. That's longer than the pets. Not to mention, this one doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to get. This one has a 28-second cooldown and can reset, while the other one here has 1.5 minute cooldown, or 1 minute 30 seconds. So I don't understand. So yeah, all you'd have to do would get Battle Rage and Life Tiger Strike, and you'd have an equivalent and better skill than this one. So yeah, that's my analysis of each of these skills. I think it's I think it's disappointing. I think such an expensive fucking item should not only be as good, it should be better. It should be a lot better in my opinion. And it wouldn't even make it OP. Let's say this thing lasted for, okay, to make it a little easier, either put all 3 skills up to 5 seconds. That would make this pet stronger. It wouldn't even be OP because this is it would be 20% for 5 seconds, and the Kindle Spirit is 10% for 9 seconds, so that's almost exactly the same as the Kindle Spirit. And then this one could have also 5 seconds. I think that's completely fine. We have fucking shit in game that does the same. Sunder Earth here reduces received damage 30% for everyone stands in it for 7 seconds. So we already have a skill. Battle Rage has a skill, has Tiger Strike that's better than this, and it has Thunder Earth that's better than this. That's just silly. So yeah, I have this one up to 5 seconds for sure. And then this one also 5 seconds. And if I may, I think it should include a CC breaker, like the Defiance here, and it simply lasts 5 seconds. Do that and or make these cooldowns independently, because if you're gonna judge them skill by skill like I did here, which I think you kind of have to, because on the battlefield I'm never gonna use this skill, never. I'm gonna use these two. And I can't even use these two both at the same time because they both go on cooldown. So yeah, I'm not just saying this because this is a pet I decided to get and now I feel a little foolish for getting it, but I do think honestly the achievement stuff like that should be stronger. I think the glider is strong enough. I think the mount was stronger than it used to be, but then they buffed the speed of several of these mounts. You remember when it used to be 10 meters per second before, and then they upped it because in Korea some of the mounts were faster, and you can gem and lunafrost them to make them even faster. So as you can see, some of these mounts of mine are nearly the same speed as the Dracora. So I do think that's unfair as well. I do think they could buff the Dracora a little bit. The glider is fine as it is, and yeah, I do think they should buff the Ellam as well, because you spend so much time, effort, gold, blood, sweat and tears to get it, and it's only as good, maybe slightly better than what's already existing, or maybe slightly worse. That depends how you look at it. Like I said, I would take Tiger Strike over Ellam C. I would take Sunder Earth over Ellam B, and this one I don't really use anyway. So, but if I wanted, I'd literally just summon a Kindled Spirit, and right now I'm better off. I have a better offensive attack, and I have 2 better defensive skills on my bar that are better than the pet that I spent just so much time and money and effort to get. So yeah, I hope you like this review / analysis of the Ellam Power Stone Battle Pet, and you became wiser if you want to get one or not. Like I said, I would not get one unless you're really close to having it already. You will see me use this because it just costs me so much that I'm like, can I afford not to use it? But yeah, honestly, an offensive user, I would go with a Kindled Spirit, and if I had a Bloomfang, it would barely be worse than this. So yeah, I think I've covered everything. Leave a comment or ask me in game if you're wondering anything about it, and I'll try to answer it, but I think I've said everything I know about it. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys, and take care.